I'm Dave Sampson, and welcome back to ThriveTV. Significant news this week from popular firewall vendor SonicWall, who has announced details surrounding a sophisticated attack exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities on some of its secure remote access platforms. SonicWall, a division of Dell, indicated the attack took place on its internal systems via the exploit. Recommendations have been provided by SonicWall, and the exploit only exists on a specific subset of products. Please see the link below for more information. The SolarWinds Orion hack continues to be front and center with new developments weekly. To chat more, we are joined by Thrive CISO, Chip Gibbons. Chip, thanks so much for joining us today. The SolarWinds Orion hack has been far-reaching across both private and public entities, exposing an unknown number of systems. What are some of the steps a CEO, CFO, or other company leader needs to take to determine if their organization is impacted?
Dave, that's a really good question. And I get this asked almost every single time there's a big hack in the news. And one of the things that I recommend is you really need to look at what your base is and what you're doing for security overall. Just because we have a new hack, and I'm not saying the Orion hack is not serious, it very much is, but you want to make sure you're doing the base of security right now, and that is the unsexy thing of patching your servers, make sure those are good and done, make sure your firmware is up to date on your firewalls, make sure your end users have up-to-date antivirus and are protected. You want to make sure those things are in place before you even start worrying about what the next hack is now.
I do think that makes a lot of sense. So from the perspective of risk management, what are the top questions to ask as business leaders start relationships with a new third-party firm? Obviously, I think there's a number of firms that have been impacted by software that they didn't even know was deployed in their environment.
That's correct. And right now, what Thrive recommends is you really need to do vendor due diligence on almost any critical vendor that you have. You need to find out what they have and what they utilize for their services towards you as an entity. But you also want to make sure that if something does happen, you have something in your contract or you have something in place that you know they'll contact you if there's some reason either they're hacked or some of the software they're using is being compromised, that they notify you.
And what are some of the top best practices that allow organizations to maintain the best security posture? With new technologies, I know you talked about some of the base level functions, but what are the more next generation functions that folks should be looking at out there?
Right, and 5 years ago, we're talking firewalls and maybe security awareness training. But today, we're talking SIM SOC services are really in the wheelhouse and not overly expensive for those medium-sized businesses. You want to be looking at that. You want to be looking at next generation antivirus, and you want to be looking at protection really for the end users at this point in time, because so many people are working from home that they're not behind those corporate firewalls. You want to make sure that they're protected also.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. The COVID world is certainly a game changer. Chip, thanks so much for your time. Always great to see you.
Great. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks again to Thrive CISO Chip Gibbons for joining us today. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, the FBI has issued a renewed warning regarding romance scams. The common ploy gains the victim's trust with the illusion of a romantic or close relationship to manipulate and ultimately steal from them. For common tips on avoiding these scams, please see the link from the FBI below. Finally, yesterday, Thrive announced a majority recapitalization with Court Square Capital Partners, alongside existing financial sponsor MC Partners, who continues to maintain a substantial ownership stake in the firm. The deal further solidifies Thrive's market position while accelerating investments in next-generation technology, including ServiceNow, automation, and artificial intelligence. For more information, please see the links in the description box below and hit the subscribe button. For Thrive TV, I'm Dave Sampson. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more next week. Have a great weekend. And most importantly, who is accessing your data?